Hey, never pick a fight you can't win.
Shall I turn in my badge and rifle as well?
No cure for fools.
Okay, welcome everybody.
Pathetic.
Welcome to the stream. Myself, Dude. I've got Orbital on the mic with me as well. Going to be looking to see, this is the Maryville game versus SuperNova Dark Matter here in this one. Let me pop the thingy up. We did get into the action a little bit late. They have already done a pro draft. And already, Orbital, we have got an action pick. I don't have the link to the pro draft, unfortunately. But still, they've done the draft. They're going to be running through it here. We got in last minute to the lobby. But we can still show off the game, so everything's good.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. As soon as I do get to see it, I hope.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Listen. I'm a decent caster. I'm not that good. I can't do it blind just yet.
Are you telling me you can't theorize the draft yourself? How insane.
That's the job of the color caster, isn't it? I just lost a lot of brownie points. All right, but yeah, Akshan is of course one that I was kind of curious about. It still fluctuates in the middle of that whole, I want to say, roaming mids that everyone's been kind of hyping up, considering the changes with the teleport kind of caused a little bit of a shift between the top lane.
Yeah, not false, honestly. There's just a load of top lanes that used to be able to be safe if you tried to take them tank. And now you have Akshan who's trying to just bully them out and just become an absolute nuisance. It was traditionally, released as the AD carry role. Now is just a skirmish top-oriented player, and obviously coming into this new season as well. It's worth noting that his main build path, at least the Immortal Shield bow, did get nerfed as well as Wit's End, which used to be a fairly core item, getting tapped as well. So there are a few nerfs to Akshan's build specifically, but himself not specifically touched just yet. But there's still a load of pieces around the Akshan here. We've got a very strong team fighting composition from Maryville outside of this Akshan in the top lane. You can see the wombo combo with a Cataclysm, Chaos Storm plus an Aphelios ulti down on top of all of that. And then, of course, for SuperNova Dark Matter as well right here, they've got themselves a really strong team fight with Jinx Ornn as a combo on its own. And then you pile on Viego resets as well. There's plenty of damage coming out of that.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited for this because, again, this is kind of that taste of the amateur scene that we're kind of hoping to see, right? This is Proving Grounds. This is the time to kind of shine and give a little bit of glory. And we're seeing all that Season 12 has to offer, right? Who would have thought that the first thing that we would see in the top side is an Ornn versus Akshan? And then in the jungle, of course, the J4 and Viego. These are two junglers that do like to kind of cause a little bit of mayhem. So overall, the combinations, like you stated, bringing a little bit of a clash. Is there one that you curiously kind of want to keep eyes on?
It really is, honestly. I think that I want to quickly as well address that I have to apologise for the soundbite delays or soundbite overlays here for the alerts for following. There's nothing I can do about that. I've tried to delete everything from my OBS, but that's fine. But yes, this top lane matchup is something that, at least in this game, I think is always going to have a lot of swing in this game, because whenever you pick Akshan, you're kind of having to pile a little bit into this guy. Of course, Boil the Oil up in the top side as well doesn't particularly want to be left on an island up here. He wants to be able to get some sort of farm if possible. but this is going to be a very rough lane for him on that top side, and a bit of a gauntlet of fire as well as he heads into this one.
Yeah, and depending on how Kind wants to kind of intervene, right? He has so many options over there for Maryville, right? You have an aggressive set on the top, and then in the mid as well, the Victor, right? This is a staple mid lane champion that has been well known as kind of being, I want to say the blind pick champion, the flavor of the preseason and all that stuff. And now going against this, I mean, it's a combination that you don't want to let the Syndra get ahead, because on that other side, for the side of SuperNova Dark Matter, right, the Syndra Viego can be potent post level 3.
Yeah, like that 2v2 is going to be absolutely terrifying regardless of what you're playing up against. Now, Jarvan as a 2v2 champion is very good early on as well, has himself a lot of damage. The CC that he provides as well makes him kind of ideal for it, but Victor, kind of the opposite here, doesn't have damage. His CC is very situational at best, and if he gets those assists early on, that is the dream for Victor here. And also quickly to point out that the array of numbers is Get Back, so we'll be calling him Get Back here for the duration of the match. Not APA in. Get Back is going to be the current starting mid for Maryville, at least this game, expecting that to stay the case for a while. But still, like I say, right, this 2v2 is something that is going to be we're hoping to see be SuperNova Dark Matter favoured. That's sort of the general gist for the time being, at the very least.
Yeah. But of course, the one that we do get to talk about a little bit more as the spectator delay kind of winds down is the fact that bot lane now gets to be a bit more expressive as well, even though the champions right now may not be as expressive as we were hoping for, right? A lot of people were kind of expecting maybe sorcerers and enchanters to kind of make a recurrence back in the bot lane, but so far, you know, with teams wanting to put a first win on the board, especially with the assist bracket here in the open qualifier, what's stable with what is the same, which at this point is going to be that Aphelios and Thresh versus the Jinx Braum.
Yeah, and again here, to give people a little bit of a rundown if they're unfamiliar, the way this Swiss bracket works is going to be, as we load on into the game here, don't mind the black screen, is that if you win 3 out of the 5 games, you go through to the main stages of the tournament here, the Proving Grounds closed qualifiers. If you don't, you go home. So you effectively need to win 3 out of the 5 games. If you go 3 and 2, you're fine. If you go 2 and 3, then you are not. And every round you play teams with the same score. So currently the first game, they're 0-0. They're going to be playing each other. That's fine. If whichever team wins here, will then go on to play another 1-0 team, and subsequently the loser will go on to play a 0-1 team here. And as we zoom out, we are, I believe, just good to go. Honestly, just get on straight into it. If you want to hop in at another point, or if you let me know that the stream is working fine, Budget Rooted Productions, you're welcome, NA Amateur. We are ready. But here we go. Invading on the top side, it looks like, level 1.
Yeah, this is a fan favorite, I always feel, and this is always going to be really interesting. As SuperNova Dark Matter, of course, we get to talk about some of the players coming in. It is Boyle in the top lane, Wonhan in the jungle, Hanje in the mid lane, and then Yeet, of course, at ADC role, best name ever, and then Bello at support, rounding out for their squad. So,
okay. Well, it doesn't look like they're going to find anything here. Be it that Maryville have done their scouting or what have you. This is going to be an unwarranted topside invade, and one that doesn't actually yield anything. As we can see on the bottom side of the map as well, it was a 5-point spread by Maryville, so they didn't really get any vision in the bot side of SuperNova's Dark Matter's jungle either. Looks like there's going to be a quick little trip into the top side. We saw that from Niles and Kind, just to get a ward on the red buff, so they're going to know where Wonhan is starting. But outside of that here, very standard, and a place that we haven't had a chance to look at just yet, Orbital, is this bot lane and how we are expecting them to function together. At least for me, Thresh Aphelios, the gold standard for bot lane duos here, even through Enchanters, even through the rise of Jinx. Niles here getting a little aggressive, so we'll hold the point.
Yeah, and he's gonna do a little bit of work, right? The Akshan laying down those auto attack patterns, being able to harass a little bit. I'm not sure if they're actually gonna be able to steal away, but nope. It looks like it. Yeah, Wonhan was able to pick up that red buff, so that should be a nice clean route, at least so far.
Yeah, and to touch back then to this bot lane. This is the spectator pause, this is fine. We have got, obviously, the Thresh, not the Thresh Aphelios, but the Jinx Braum on the other side, and at least Braum in the latter half of Season 11 sort of became that substitute. We saw Thresh get banned very frequently, and Braum took his place at that attempted support that you would be disengaging with a bit of tankiness more so than anything else. So I like the fact that they've picked that one up here, and particularly when they're up against things like a Job and like an Akshan as well, getting that CC into champions that are going to be diving down on you is going to be very, very useful.
Yeah. And I mean, when you consider the rest of the champions that are coming out here, it's very, very, I want to say, fun to watch kind of this old school composition come back. It'll be very, very interesting to see how it plays out, because it's like, you know, the opening standard here, but you know what's new is the glacial augment on that Thresh is becoming the new norm.
Yeah, exactly, right? And it gives more damage over to you, less damage over to the enemies. It's a new revamped style. Certainly something that I'm looking forward to, seeing how much usage we can finally see in this game. Now, as we hover back up to this top side here, it's worth noting that, yes, we see Boil the Oil with 6 CS. Is this expected? 100%. Right, we talked about the Akshan going to be bullying him out. This is a byproduct of what this Akshan can do, and there's a big wave crashing into his turret right now. Niles can either take this time to harass or maybe try and find a base here, and he's continually just trying to force the Ornn off as much farm.
Ooh, and I love the aggression coming out here. This is, as you said, the gold standard of the bot lane, and it shows its pride right there.
Yeah, getting a flash out of Yeet here, that's a trade that you will take every day of the week, but they may have to be careful here. Wanhan is making his way down, and they're farming for the 3 right now on the creeps, and it doesn't quite come through in time, and even though the Viego does try and make his way into the bot side, hasn't been successful, and again, MRL and Shady should be nice and safe here.
Yeah, they don't know that the recall has happened, but they say, hey, go ahead, and Bello already eating a large chunk of damage, and because Yeet wasn't there to help out, that is going to be the Flash Ignite, or actually Flash out of Bello. Ignite coming around the other end, and Evan RL is going to pick up first blood on the Aphelios.
Yeah, 2v2 finding the outplay here on this bot side. Looks like Get Back going to be forcing Hanj back as well here. And in a bot side where you don't have the jungle prior, right? We saw Kind off in the top side, the enemy red side here. This is a really strong look for Maryville. Getting that 2v2, 2v3, if you want to argue it, outplay, puts them in a very good position. Aphelios still scales incredibly well. It's not like he's fallen off in terms of his late game scaling. Has just been sort of surpassed by other champions. Getting that early kill, tier 2 boots off the first reset is going to make him incredibly hard to catch.
Yeah. What's going to be easier to catch in the mid lane is Hanj's flash. Wanhan is going to try and enter it into the mid lane, but again, it is a 1v2, and because Hanj has no mana and no health, it will be considered a little priority win for the side of Maryville here in the mid lane.
And looking at the Drakes here, obviously Chemtech is going to be our first one. So no Chemtech Soul, which is a joy to most teams, I'm sure, honestly, with the way that the balancing on that one may be a little bit off for the time being. But when we have got Boil the Oil, particularly, this Chemtech Soul is actually going to do a lot of work for Maryville, because they're going to be the team that are going to be whacking away at these champions with more max health and probably more overall health throughout the duration of this game. So getting that extra 6% damage, if they can get it with this bot side lead that they have amassed, certainly going to be something that I would deem in their best interest.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see them already trying to ramp it up a little bit. Yeet and Bello actually pushing back against the bot lane. Recognizing that bot lane kill, yes, they got the kill, but it expended quite a bit, right? There are no flashes. There's only a heal on Evan RL, so you are, I want to say, relatively safe in this upcoming battle here, right? You don't have to worry about the Thresh kind of jumping on you unexpectedly. Just got to watch out for the hook, and that's exactly why they're tilting it a little bit towards the top lane where their wards are, but Kind Jungle coming in for a little bit of a vision bluff. They're going to go ahead, hop in, and unfortunately I talked a little bit too long as the fight has broken out. Easy kill onto Yeet, follow through on a few more as Niles comes in to join the fight and saves Getback's life. That's going to be a hook dodge out of the way, but again, auto attacks, and the spear instead is going to take it. A clean 3-0, make it a 3-1. All right, Hanj throwing one back, but I mean, it's a 1 for 3, and Dragon should go the way. On the side of Maryville, Hanj, though, wanting a little bit of extra action. Get back, eating one too many spheres, and Shady throwing the hook out. Doesn't find much.
Yeah, Niles sticking around a little too long there, but overall a very positive play here for Maryville. Already up 2k gold. They are going to be able to turn that into the Dragon as well. They stop the Drake coming through, and you talked about a lack of flashes from Maryville. Those were reciprocated in the bot lane. We got to see Yar Yeet without flash, caught out, and a wonderful triple knock up from Kind Jungle. Set up the play beautifully there to get them all 3 kills. Even a swag flag at the end, just on top of everything to give those kills back. On top of the Dragon that they finally did pick up for themselves here. Certainly a good look for Maryville early on. Now Bello and Yar Yeet do need to be careful. And Jungle's lurking nearby and you know, maybe sensing that something's wrong if Evan RL stepping up this confidently to the 2v1.
I think at this point as well, yeah, Yeet and Bello, especially with Chakrams up, I don't think they could have dueled with Evan so far. So maybe rightfully taking the slower paced battle in the bot side. Niles and Boyle going ahead fighting away. And of course, Niles already with that Vamp, Scepter, and Noon Quiver in hand is dishing out plenty of damage and sustaining through any rebuttal.
Yeah, without Bramble Vest just yet, this lane is still going to be very hard. But we've made it to first recall for Ornn, and that's like one of the hardest parts of the top lane matchup here. Hey, Flake goes wide. Alright. That was
attempted to, but I like it.
It was always going to be one of those miracle plays because there was no chance the hook landed, but it was always nice to see. We're kind of like, does this work? Oh no, it doesn't. Okay, we were correct. Didn't think it was going to amount to anything here, and still nice to see now. Obviously, a little bit of translation of priority from Maryville. Shady no longer cares for bot lane, unfortunately. Evan RL is going to be on that isolated island down there until Kind Jungle has picked himself up this Rift Herald. The double objectives coming through, Drake and Rift Herald being secured by Maryville here. You can see that Ornn on the bot side of Summoner's Rift will not be able to contest this as Boyle getting a little bit too aggressive there with the Searing charge, maybe a little bit too early more so than aggressive.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part is usually in a top lane matchup, missing your knockup is not going to be that detrimental, right? The problem comes with the fact that you're against Niles, a ranged ADC at this point, who can very easily punish that with, I want to say, like a 3 to 4 auto string, which is very difficult to deal with if you're an Ornn, right? So you always have to be worried about that. However, now on the bot side, Bello is going to eat a little bit of a chunk, but the return fire on Evan RL is actually pretty good here.
Yeah, I mean, there's, you know, a good reason to not focus a Braum with Unbreakable, and Maryville learned that one the hard way here. No Vamp Scepter for Evan means that it's likely going to be a either recall angle or get dove.
Yeah, I think diving sounds like a better of the two, so they are going to jump in. That is going to be the Heartbreaker use. Hanjay is going to pick that one up. Top lane, actually. Boyle winning out on that duel and might be able to pick up the kill. Is going to get the solo kill on the top lane, and that is one for the books. Now on the bot side, fight continuing, a 4v3 caught between the tower and a hard place. Kind Jungle, though, getting immediately stunned, rooted, and killed. Chaos Storm is down. Hanjay going to have to walk away from danger, but one Han does not want more than that, so the resets are good. They pick up 2 and lose no one.
Yeah, I think coming into this as well, it was safe to say that Maryville certainly the favourites for this game, higher seeded, more reputable team with a lot more recognised players, but it's good to see Dark Matter here. They are not giving this game over to them easily. Response on all sides of Summoner's Rift. Solo killing the top lane for Boyle, able to use that spell Book Ignite to take down Niles. And on the bot side as well, a nice proactive play off the back of that chunk that Evan received from the 2v2. Spend no time. Hanjay and One Hand make their way down to this bot side, dive the bot lane, get Aphelios to miss out on a ton of minions, miss out on that experience as well, and put themselves right back to level in the gold here. Just 500 separates them, where previously was roughly 2k.
Yeah, and to think as well, for Dark Matter, they're a composition that I definitely feel is okay moving towards that late game, right? Even though you're looking at Maryville's side, yes, you have the Akshan, yes, you have the Aphelios and the Victor that are all going to be very difficult to get through. If you do get to them, it's actually a fairly easy lineup to cut through, right? The Jinx is well known as a hyperscaler in the late game. That combined with the Ornn means that as long as they do stay even and they don't bleed out too much, they might be able to get to the mid to late game in relatively good standings and be able to negate a lot of the early game aggression that you see out of Maryville currently. So seeing that bot lane right now, going to be squeezing out a little bit extra damage and hopefully a couple plates.
Yeah, Evan wants to stick around for this, but he could get caught for it here, and don't quite see if he got the gold. We cut away at just the wrong time, but either way, those plates going down obviously going to be making that bot lane tier 1 a lot more susceptible.
Yeah, Kind Jungle actually went for a little bit of a ward sweep, so that should be easily counterable here if the Braum decides to double back. But you know, Kind Jungle is a little bit kind, doesn't it? Doesn't want to aggress too hard here.
And I want to take a quick time here, if we've got the opportunity, to take a look at your top laners right now. You've got Niles already working his way down. The Infernal Dragon spawning means that there's a lot of priority being put down here on this bot side, and Niles already making his way down here sort of suggests that. Boyle with TP changes. We're not at 14 minutes yet. Can't make it down to help out the team. That Drake is going to go over very quickly. But you can see that solo kill for Boyle in the top side, whilst good and whilst nice, hasn't really changed the way that this top lane matchup has been functioning just yet. It was a Spellbook Ignite swap, and without that, you really don't have the damage on the Ornn just yet. He has got himself a nice level lead over the Akshan, but that 20 CS advantage is about mitigating the gold gap right now. If we look at the plates as well, 3 plates for Niles versus the 1 that Boyle's been able to get, it is definitely most likely here. And you know, producer Rude, I can have a look. We can have a look at the gold and just see that yeah, he's still got more gold.
Yeah, and even in the bot side as well, right? You're still climbing up, even though the CS is a little bit more despaired. And we can see it again. Here comes the Glacial Fissure, though. Evan RL eating a lot of chunks and gets stunned up, but again, healing through a decent amount of it, being able to sustain through Yeet. They threw everything that they could and only get about a quarter of his HP.
Ooh, Get Back does need to be careful here, in a little trouble.
Yeah, Chaos Storm goes down. Unleashed Power has already been used, and I think Hanji was actually hoping to do a shotgun scatter the weak. Couldn't really find it, though, and that means Wonhan and Hanji now have priority in mid, while bot lane falls away at Maryville University. They will go ahead and collect first tower.
Yeah, this red gun giving Evan the sustain here to keep himself in lane despite the trading going on, and now Hanji.
Yeah, they're going to enjoy this one quite a bit as the flashes had already been burned, and Kind takes a solo kill.
Really nicely done. You know, Hanji doesn't flash the knock up, just sort of flashes still within range of the Jarvan Cataclysm, and a little unfortunate, but does get taken down, just pushing, trying to get that wave under the turret here. We've all been there, try and push that one extra wave, but does get picked off for it. So Kind Jungle, really good timing as Boyle now looking to find a little bit of retribution. Unsuccessful thus far, though, as now got Niles pushing in this top side with the Aphelios and Thresh now unlocked on Summoner's Rift. You can already see Evan making his way up to this top side and trying to protect Niles out of chance.
Yeah. Niles, okay, saying, yeah, you know what? You can try and protect me all you want, but I got plenty of firepower back, dueling out against a tank who already has Frostfire plus a Bramble Vest and still chunking out to 50. Has to spell a little bit of pain here. And you can actually see the rotate coming out of Yayi, Bello, and Wonhan as well. Everyone is now collectively in this top lane as teleports are now unlocked. We are going to see the full swing of both these teams.
Yeah, with the Rift Herald just spawning as well. That's why the teams are up here. They want to get that second Herald, try and force themselves a bit of priority potentially in the mid lane if they can take that turret down. TP check then for your teams. It is actually just Get Back who's got one right now, and he's poised ready in the middle of mid lane, so he's not in too bad a situation. This is the power of Akshan here, though. Look at Niles.
Yeah, very, very nice.
Oh, that
tag.
scatter.
Huge chunk of damage, and that's a laser to finish it off. Get Back taken a 2-0. Now the hook onto Ornn. That is going to be Boyle. Boiling here inside of the river. Easy pickup for Evan RL in the Chakrams.
Okay, so 2 for 0 here now. Maryville going to convert this into the Drake. But, not Drake, the Rift Herald here on the top side of Summoner's Rift. Going to be able to turn that most likely into a top lane turret without using it. There's nobody here to defend it. It looks like Wonhan is going to have to sort of do his best efforts here, but probably not going to be enough as Evan and Kind are there to respond and just make sure that everything's above board here as the sort of turret take eventually will come through. And now they get to rotate themselves around to mid lane, likely to see Get Back move out to a side lane and put Evan in what I like to call the mid lane ping pong scenario, where you push a wave in, the enemy AD carry comes and collects the wave, and then you wait for your team to do anything on Summoner's Rift, and then we get back to the action.
Yeah. True to his name as well, right? Always wanting to see that happen with Maryville, who are now commanding a pretty decent gold lead as well. We are looking at a 3.6k lead with 2 dragons in their pocket, expanding that up to, I would say, around 4k at the current stance, as a majority of players are now hitting their mythics as well as a few more. You can see a little extra inside the pockets of Evan RL, I believe. A Get Back is picking up a few components, and Niles, of course, sitting at 158 DS has been having a fantastic time around the rest of the Rift.
And really impressive as well, because he's been spending a fair amount of time roaming both dragons. He made his way down to this bot side. He's, you know, sacrificed a few waves under the turret to still have nearly 10 CS per minute. Certainly a very good tally for himself right now. But you can see here, we've got people moving out toward those side lanes, just solo laners, kind.
Yeah, and they remember Hanjay has no flash. But the return fire is pretty good. Kind actually has to flash away. Now it's a split fight. You can see the top side of that jungle is going to be hit up. A huge Chaos Storm lands, and Get Back is going to zone him out for the rest of the team. Niles in the middle of everyone, but it's actually going to be Dark Matter on the run. A little bit of a swing and a shot means the ultimate comes out. Double ultimate from the double ADC.
Oh, Get Back.
Up, but the laser is Get. Says thank you very much. That's going to be a 4-0. Half of those under the tower. And Maryville University will collect mid tower, 4, and a dragon.
Yeah, they recognize the Syndra has no flash. They punish that, take her down, and disaster for your Yeet here. Not quite able to find the reset. Evan Aurel actually has one of the most clutch heals of the fight. He manages to keep his jungler alive, doesn't allow the Jinx those resets, and mitigates her pop-off potential no end. Get Back comes on through, and without a doubt, the actual MVP of that fight just came through, slammed the Jinx from 100 to 0, didn't need any assistance, got a little bit anyway, but was more than capable of taking down SuperNova, Dark Matter there in that fight. And with the mid-tier 1 as a response, they collect themselves a lot of gold overall. They've now got the 3rd dragon of the game, so Soul up for them in 4 minutes and 40 seconds. And like we said here, Orbital, yes, for SuperNova, they've got this Jinx, they've got this Syndra, they've got a very strong core of a team fight, but they just don't have the items yet. They don't have the damage in these team fights to make it stick, where for Maryville, they do. They've got that Medjai's already online. It may only be 10 stacks, but I imagine that's going to go way higher.
Oh, 100%, right? I was kind of curious because Hanjay in the earlier fight in the bot lane had actually collected 2 for 0, right? And I was curious how that would actually swing the mid lane. Get Back said it didn't matter, right? Really didn't matter that the bot lane was able to pick up a few kills, that my laner was able to pick it up. Instead, I'm going to focus on farming, and now in the mid game, I'm going to start picking up kills of my own Bello, having to flash away, but you flash straight into a Cataclysm, and it's going to allow the kill to come through. Chaos Storm slowly rotating into another kind. Jungle gets another heal, but there is going to be the Super Mega Death Rocket to finish it off. Nice play out of that Heartbreaker, and I'm not sure if that's what one-on-one to do. Now it's going to be Get Back finishing off the other side, and the carries coming away from this Maryville squad are easily going to wipe the rest of the fight. We just saw Boyle teleport straight into running away as Maryville now collect a majority share of 4-1. And even a little bit of bot lane damage.
Yeah, they don't need Niles at this point here. Victor is so strong. Get Back has been pumping out damage this entire game. 10 stacks before that fight, Orbital. He's up to 24 now. This guy is absolutely insane, and currently stacking up that Medjai's is, you know, quite within his rights to rush towards these big ticket AP items. The magic resist on the other side consists currently of 2 null magic mantles, right? Void Staff is not an item that is 100% core at the minute, and the way Ender Flame works, or Shadow Flame, excuse me, that item, again, very, very strong. We've got the Amptome in the inventory, working toward that alternator to finish that one off, expecting Get Back to be a core focus, at the very least, for SuperNova.
Oh, no, Bello. Bello is caught once again, but thankfully this time Kind does not have the Cataclysm. That was a little chase out. No Axiom Arc on Kind to finish any of those fights off, but you can see, right, it is scary for anyone on Dark Matter's side to even chance a ward placement.
And getting Vision versus a Jarvan versus a Akshan as well, most notably. Probably not the most important champion, since he can stealth onto you, but you don't want to be just walking into your jungle blind phase checking. You can see now, Bello did it once, got caught for it. Now it's called through 4 more members to try and get up to clearing out Vision. Niles does need to be careful down here. Yes, he's got the Wit's End, so the damage from Hanjay will be slightly mitigated, but either way, this has still been, what so far is a very good performance from Maryville. They've still got to close this one out, and at the minute it looks like Baron is their ticket to doing so here. Obviously, if you take Akshan up to that top side, he also does a fair whack of damage onto the big purple worm, but for the moment, we're expecting Victor Aphelios to be more than handy.
Yeah, and I definitely don't feel Maryville wants to rotate Niles out. The reason for that is this composition wants to continue pushing. They want to put pressure down and get any extra advantage. They know they're strong enough, right? There is no way they aren't strong enough to take it with 4 members. They should be perfectly fine too. So always having that threat of Niles split pushing at any point means Hanjay has to be extremely careful of when the teleport comes down. Yes, it's unleashed. Yes, the cooldown is a little bit lower. You run the risk of losing so much. And already we do see a nice scout of the week to keep Niles away, but just an ulti trying to tag a little bit more. And only a couple shots goes out. Niles goes, you know, a little bit of a scratch on the back. Unleash power, though, to fire right back. Scout of the week lands, and that's going to be a Q, but a nice immortal shield bow means that Hanjay is not enjoying this level of champion play, and Niles takes a solo kill.
And now with the attention drawn to the bot lane here, you can see Maryville immediately up to the Baron. And with Niles available to get that TP as well, I expect this to be a fight that they can more than handily take here. Shady ready for the turn. The hook doesn't quite go in, but Niles already on that TP flank right into the red buff pit. Kind has got Cataclysm. It doesn't look like it's going to come through.
Oh, well, Niles might have eaten a bit more than he can chew. Has to take the Dark Passage to safety. Now the ram is already done. It means Bellows is once again caught and destroyed. A nice Cataclysm means that the Moonlight Vigil is going to land on so many. Does minimal damage, but it's enough. Out goes Boyle, who gets a heal off. But One-Han is now going to watch as the Stasis Kind is going to annihilate the rest of the team. This is Get Back going on a little bit of a rampage here. 25 stacks and only wishes that he could count more.
This is the power of being comfortable in your blind picks, right? I assume at the very least that this Victor was that blind pick in the mid lane, and he's certainly proven quite why you can take this champion here. Has been incredibly comfortable throughout the laning phase. You talked about the fact that Syndra went up to 2-0, didn't phase Get Back at all, was more than capable at keeping himself alive. 9-0-4 right now. And now with the Cloud Soul online, the Baron really doesn't become a formality, right? It's still going to be a little bit challenging to go up and collect it, but with a mid lane inhibitor down, with all of these items now starting to funnel onto your carries, Shadow Flame comes through, we've got Lord Dominic's finished, plus the components of a Guardian Angel here for Evan as well. This is going to be a very difficult fight for SuperNova Dark Matter here if they want to try and take this one.
Yeah, and not just in items or gold. Let's just take a look at the map, right? Aside from the 5 deaths that Maryville has, they have played a perfect game. No towers down, hasn't given over any global objectives. I don't believe any of the Rift Heralds went over either. This has been Maryville's game to play. And Mello is watching, as that is going to be the unbreakable wall going up, means Boyle is now going to eat a majority share of the damage, and Get Back is now legendary for very good reason. And now just says, hey, let's do a little bit of a do-si-do all the way around, and immediately gets the shields back. Now Yaid is going to get a little bit of a reset. That's only one, though, but look at the shotguns fly. Does enough damage to force everyone to back off. And it should be 1 kill on the tower on the top side. A little bit over-aggressive, but Maryville, they have plenty to spare here. They really don't care.
Yeah, they are slightly over-flexing their muscles a little bit here.
Only slightly.
They are going to be able to collect the turret as well off the back of this, which is actually very impressive with the liberties that they've been taking with these fights.
Oh, no. Oh, that is a force ulti for ulti, and honestly, Kind Jungle got the better of that.
Yeah, they'll be more than happy to make these Viego resets incredibly difficult to come by. Of course, with this time, they've been able to get these turrets without Baron, right? They've broken down the base, right? Mid lane inhibitor is not something that we tend to see acquired before having that Baron buff in your inventory, so that you're in your back pocket, so that you can whittle down those turrets. Up against the Syndra as well, obviously they took a really good fight, but wave clear is something that SuperNova Dark Matter do have. Now that this Baron is being picked up, that sort of wave clear condition really does go out the window. There's no way this is getting stolen. It would have been a one-way trip for One-Han. Okay. Oh. We had to be a little bit of bated breath right there, but success.
I like you were saying that, and I was looking at the ultimates lined up on the side of Dark Matter. I was like, dude, there's a few that could try and steal. Granted, did not happen, right? They are able to take Baron, but I like the attempt out of SuperNova Dark Matter.
Yeah, so they've now got this Baron, Maryville. They're going to put Niles, it looks like, keep himself up in the top lane, the 1-4 strategy, let mid lane inhibitor do its work, really. This is just going to be a really... This is the scary thing about playing up against good League of Legends teams, right? Is that they do the fundamentals so well that you feel like you're being forced out and there's nothing that you can do versus this. And this is exactly the situation that Maryville are going to put them in. They're doing the basics incredibly well, right? We let mid lane inhibitor do its work, push the waves in. We're going to take our mid jungle pairing and wipe out any vision on the bot side of their jungle so that them performing flanks or getting any deep TPs is not possible, and now just trying to work their way forward. They've got 4 members on this bot side. Niles on the top lane. When he starts to get pressure at the turret, somebody's going to have to respond from SuperNova Darkmat. If they don't, that's just an inhibitor that's going to fall.
Oh, and I like that they take that chance. That's the Unleashed Power getting it. Hanjay, right click for skill, and now that is going to be Shady getting annihilated as well. That's 2. They catch Evan Arel a little bit. The zap does not land. Flash is still available. Yeah, Yeet eating a little bit of the laser, but top lane, you can see they are chancing it. They're trying to dance their way. They want to get a few more, but they're losing their base there. So that's huge. Ultimate in the back line is going to chunk Bello and Ya Yeet a little bit further out, and they're just chasing. They want to keep getting a bit more damage. Evan RL still has heals, still has Flash. Instead goes
Here comes Niles.
Now going to take the chance. Flash out and heal. Niles coming in the back line.
Revive!
Hey, give me that kill. Welcome back to Life Threat. They are going to clean this fight up as quick as can be. Double kill for Get Back as they take the 4-for-1.
Alright, yeah, great that Niles comes in, performs the hero play, but how is Evan alive here? Like, this, he had all of his summoners, used the stopwatch as well, and I guess that was enough, but SuperNova Darkmat are committed so heavily onto this bot side, and it just didn't pay off for them. I can respect the play, but the fact that Evan gets away here may well just seal the game. Still 10-15 seconds on the majority of the carries. Fortunately, it doesn't look like the waves were in position, and it is going to be a triple inhib, which is as good as death for any team in this sort of stage, but it's still just that slight 1% chance, the clinging to life that you've got with your base still standing. But again, that's not really a thing right now.
Nope, not at all. What they can say is they do have health bar advantage, right? You are getting a little bit lucky. The question is do you know the timers? Do you know when those ultimates are up? Do you know when the lasers are going to be firing right back out? And it looks like Maryville do. They say, hey, listen, you can try all you want. Ya Yeet is going to fall to Get Back. They are going to finish off the rest of the kills. That's a double kill going out for Get Back. He also has a stopwatch. He is able to flash out of danger's way. And that'll be a triple kill to cap the ace as Maryville go ahead and take a 29-minute game number 1. Yeah, 0 deaths, right? 0 deaths, 15 kills. Pointing it out, that is more than half of the kills combined of the rest of the team. That is absolutely nuts. So congratulations to Maryville for moving on into the Swiss bracket. They will go on to face the rest of the 1-0 squads here in the next match. Mhm. Yeah.
There we go. Hold on. Thank you. There we go. I don't know how that happened, but hey ho.
Best streamer NA. Let's do this.
Rude Productions and Rude Mute has been a meme the entire duration of my career, so that's fine. The next game we're hoping to do is also just the next Maryville game, but there's a chance, I have to say, that if Unified take the Maryville game, which they are perfectly within their rights to do, it is their tournament, their broadcast, that I will either try and find another game or we'll just end it there. But I've been coordinating with Maryville to do their games. That's what we've got.
And I think it's awesome, right? I have to say, being a part of production, right? I've been casting for 6 years. I know you've been casting for quite a long time as well, dude.
Mm.
It's like, it's crazy to see the level of dedication, I want to say, that
Yeah.
Unified has definitely put towards this, because this is a large scale event, right? This is to get 32 teams and be able to push it all together and try and allow these guys as much exposure as possible. I think is one of the larger undertakings that we've seen, and especially for what seems like a good majority of the year. I have to give him props. Like, I just want to say that I have to give him props for what they're trying to do to even broadcast almost every single game.
Yeah,
Like, that's
like
crazy.
yeah.
That's crazy to me.
When they did was it was UGP last season, the tier 1 event, and they had 4 different streams running
Yeah.
to get all of the games broadcast. Yeah, absolutely unbelievable, honestly, that they they just whap out that many games. So yeah, good stuff from Unified. If you guys have any questions as well for myself or for Orbital as well, please feel free. Or
You should
you know,
probably tune in, right? Like, I'm on the broadcast. I should probably have it open. Huh?
yeah, maybe a good idea. You know, if you want anything to be answered, broadcast perspective, any predictions, anything crazy like that, you know, we're more than within our rights to do so. I'm gonna do a little bit of OBS work because I need to make sure that everything's okay in case we have a second game. Whilst we sit here and sort of wait to see what's happening for game number 2, more so than anything else.
Ooh. All right. So Salandria, I believe, just asked, said very sick kitchen aid in the background. I think that's for you, Rudy.
Yeah.
But
We love
how
that.
did you start casting? I do want to know this. I do want to know this.
Okay, so I got into casting by joining joining a Discord and just randomly sending a message to somebody who asked for a League of Legends caster. Like that's it. Somebody said
that is the best fake it till you make it level of
literally somebody said, hey, can I hey, I need a League of Legends caster, and I was like, I want to cast League. Like that was pretty cool. I enjoy that. And then I sent them a message. I said, hey, I got no experience, I've never done this before, but if you fancy taking a chance, I think I'd be pretty good at it. And then they said yes, and here I am. Like
That's amazing.
The rest is history. How about yourself, Orbital? What got you into? How did you first start? It was 6 years ago. That's a bit of time. Do you remember?
Oh man, I am old like that. So I'm going on year 7, I believe, but I didn't really
Okay.
start kicking off my casting career until about 2 years ago is when I started taking it very seriously, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this was all the way back, I think 2014, I want to say 2014 or 2013, 2015, I don't remember. So I got my start originally trying to put together a League of Legends team, actually for Wichita Esports, which is
Okay.
now known as Unified, which is very, very fun.
Oh, that's cool.
It was for their very first LAN that they wanted to put on at Wichita State University. And I said, hey, I want to field a team. Would you be willing to sponsor the team? I got sponsored, and we got to go play in the tournament for free. We got absolutely annihilated in this double elim tournament in 2 best of 3s very, very quickly. And after the first series, we were not slated to play for another couple hours. And I believe one of my buddies who was part of Wichita Esports, the board, said, hey, would you be willing to cast League of Legends? Because we don't really have any casters right now. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
sure, I got time. Like, I got a whole 3 hours where I'm not doing anything, right?
Yeah.
So I hopped on air and I loved it. And then I went back to play again in the second series, got absolutely dumpstered right there. And then they came back and were like, so we know you're not doing anything. And those exact words, by the way, that was
Nice.
It was both a dagger in my heart and very true words. And they said, would you like to cast again and continue casting? And I said, I would love to. And so I cast the entirety of the 3-day tournament after that, and have loved it ever since.
Damn, that's not quite the fake it till you make it, but that's actually heaven forbid, an organic way of getting into the scene.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
that's
Oh man,
that's something cool though. I
it
always like
was.
hearing people's meet cutes, or not meet cutes, but you know what I mean, like how people did
Yeah,
things.
yeah. It was a start, and I will say this. I I will only say this because I don't get many chances to. Unified has been my bread and butter, the reason that I started casting, because they quite literally did. If I didn't know about them, so that's why I am such a huge fan of them and what they do, and I love to see them succeed and seeing all the new faces that are being brought in as well. Like, it is fantastic, also because they're my homies. I love it.
That's good. That's nice. Yeah, nice. It makes people smile. Like
And
these.
I gotta meet you. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta meet you.
Honestly, meeting people is actually like one of the best part about all this as well.
Oh yeah.
Like, as much as not even as much as, like, just people are actually so nice. Everybody's genuine and helps out people at a moment's notice as well, right? Like, if like to give some background to people, I hadn't messaged Orbital about this until 25 minutes before the show had started, and I was like, okay, I've set up my OBS scene. I failed that as well, by the way. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the event, and then I'm like, I feel like I'm missing something, and what I was missing was a play-by-play caster. So I was like, now I have two options here. Either I just firm it, go on my own, and see what I can do trying to solo cast games. And I was like, my days of solo casting are behind me, and there's a plethora of talent that's out there. So, just randomly sent a message to Orbital. He says, yes, I can be on in 15 minutes. Beautiful. Bim bam, we're ready. Broadcast presented,
The best part is today was the day that I was getting everything done. Like, Mondays are usually my day that I go do all, the dailies, go out, get groceries and everything.
Mm-hmm. It's the day
I
off.
got the message. The best part is I got the message in a car wash. I was midway through a car wash and I got a message. I was like, oh, this better hurry up pretty quickly. I was like,
there we go. That's what you like to see. Just
that's great.
Oh
man, I love it. But yeah. Oh, I'm glad that our stories of how we got into casting could make you smile, Ivar. He said, I don't know which story it was, but I'm guessing it's both of them.
I think it was you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I love both the stories because, again, I wish I had a start like you did, and a lot of casters, they did do that because back then the scene for casting I felt was very niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 2014, 2015, it was very rough. Unless you had prior knowledge of a lot of these groups and you were on the in, it wasn't as readily accessible. There were only a few tournaments, right? There were only a few groups, and Twitch was just kicking off. So to have that start like you have is something that I think is one of the more fantastic things, like you said, about esports and how it's growing currently, and the fact that you can literally hop into Discord. Anyone can be asking, hey, does someone know about League of Legends? Can you go cast it? And boom, you're in the scene. I think that is amazing.
I like it was. I joined and then I had my cast there, and I was like, I messaged my co-caster who wasn't even like, was just a community figure for like the league that I was running it for, that I was casting for. And I was like, hey, how do I cast more? And then they sent me through a Discord, which I think was actually like set up, moderated something by Ivor in the chat, of just every Discord that ran League of Legends tournaments. And I was like, I will send a message to every single one of them and say, hey, here's my one VOD of me ever casting. Can I cast your league?
Mm-hmm.
And then I got poached.
That's how it is. Yeah.
And then Ivor poached me from Ivor. It was a cool story.
Hey, there you go. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, we're still waiting, I guess. I think I think most of the matches have actually started finishing up, so
we can see the results so far.
Should we go through some of the results that we see?
Yeah, I'm gonna go from the top. Okay, so the congratulations to Golden Guardians Academy, to nobody's surprise, I'd say, for being the first team to either win or post their screenshot of them winning.
Right.
So, but
21-minute game. I give them a lot of credit for that.
That's pretty quick. That is pretty quick. Yeah. We'll give them that. So there's okay. So Golden Guardians Academy have won their game versus Meme City. Bay State College take down Goose Gaming. And Bay State College as well are sort of a team of relatively, I'll say, like, unknown in the amateur scene players, but they are really high seeded because they've got insane solo queue ranks, as well as like just themselves. They are a team coming into this that I think could surprise a few people. Like Bay State College isn't a team that has a lot of sort of amateur standing necessarily, but I certainly think that they're going to surprise a few people.
I think what's crazy is obviously there are teams that a lot of us are looking at to be, the favorites moving on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I always feel like no matter what, there are some teams that, when it gets muddled into the middle, that if they are to give it their all, if they're able to kind of push through, that they have a chance at surprising us, right? That's the best I can put it. So I really like that fact. Of course, some roads are longer than others, but that's one of the things I'm super excited and I am super happy to see in Swiss brackets as well.
Yeah, this is actually, if we get a game 2 here, this is when it gets really entertaining because we get now two teams that have won against one another, which will be obviously very cool to see. I want to take a pinch, like there's obviously the way that the bracket has been formatted. It was seed 1 versus seed 32, and then 2 versus 31, and so on and so forth down the line. So we get to like the middle point of like 16 plays 17 and things like that. And we actually, the one that I found, the first team outside of the top 16 to win was Wildcard Aces. They seeded 17th for this, 18th rather, but they beat 15th. Yeah. So Wildcard Aces, and I'm going to assume that Wildcard are then going to take a 2-0 in this one, just in off the back of the other Wildcard team being more reputable names at the very least. NT take down Ace. That's no team. Okay, they're seeded 6th as well.
And TA beating UCI, Dare beating Taco, and to I think
that's a big one. I think.
Yeah. What were they? I closed all my.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They're.
I closed all my broadcast resources. No.
Taco 13th seeded. So Dare are 20.
Jump then.
19, 20.
Yeah, that's actually
something
a
like
pretty
that.
good
Yeah,
jump.
that's really good. Team Ambition winning as well. I don't know that. Yeah, they took down. Who did Team Ambition take down? Oh, that was 16-17. Okay.
Yeah.
So the 16-17 game went the way of 17. Okay. They were struggling hard in that game. Oh, okay. That was the not the one that I just said. The one before. Nice one, Rude.
We are professionals.
Yep,
Everyone.
yep.
We are very, very professional. We know exactly what we're talking about.
Hey, without me, Maryville's game wouldn't be on Twitch. I probably would, but I said I'd do it, so whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like we're getting, and that's what we're really looking forward to. At least I am. Of these, it's gonna be fun, kind of watching these teams continue throughout the rest of the tournament, and hopefully throughout. I even want to say the rest of the year, right? Because this is one of many that are going to be going on. So for anyone that's kind of new here into the scene of what's going on and, why there are, 7 or 8 different streams currently running outside of the 2 of the main unified broadcasts. This is one of, I want to say 3 or 4 open qualifiers that'll be feeding into into their main playoff brackets for each qualifier, and then teams earn points, a specific set of points that feed into the final Proving Grounds tournament at the end of the year. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So all of these, I'd say all or both of the events that are running in spring so even these open qualifier teams are playing for points. Those points will then go into deciding who goes to Proving Grounds, I assume, at the end of spring. So even so, to give a little bit of context, then even if you go 0 and 3 at the start of today or today and tomorrow, it's still worth playing those final 2 games, even though you can't make it to groups, because you will still get points or Proving Grounds qualification points.
Yep.
So just because you go over 3, it's not an actual FF angle. You should keep on going, keep on playing.
And And it's also just in general, I want to say practice, right? As much
Yeah,
as that
yeah.
sounds kind of one of those things that's, tossed around. It's kind of like, oh yeah, it's good practice. You lost and all that. No, 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 no. These are the players that have been running the brackets and gauntlets every single day, right? From 2021 now into 2022. These are players that it's very good practice, no matter what you say, and very good teams to play against. So, and always playing your heart out. That's the way I put it.
Yeah, and I posted in the chat here the super link to all to Perchance's Twitter. She's got all of the streams that are going on wherever they are, be them player POV, what have you. They are all there at the very least, so you can go and check out if some of the games are still going or not. I think the majority of them have wrapped up. I can see, like, matching them to one another, matching them to what I can see in the results tally, at
We're
least.
supposed to have. There were 16 games going on today, or there are supposed to be 16 matches in the first round, and I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we're waiting on one
Yeah.
more, and then they should seed into the Swiss bracket, and then we should be good to go.
Yeah, that's what I got to 15 as well. There we go.
Yeah. So we finally landed on the same number.
We did it, everybody.
We were having issues earlier on, I think.
Yeah, I didn't count. I couldn't count. That was on me, honestly. But hey, that'll happen to you occasionally. Don't do math on stream, kids. That's the rule.
I think every caster, if I wish there was someone out there making compilations just fails of any caster out there, right? Because I'm pretty sure every caster has at least 3 or 4 moments where they tried doing math on stream and it just failed epically. Right?
I've actually never done it. I've actually on purposely never done math on stream, and if I have, I've been incredibly confident through just like throughout. Like it is backed up by several sources. I've got my university citations out for the 2x2 I'm about to pop out. Like I've never made the mistake. God damn it.
So wait. You're telling me you've never tried to calculate the gold difference at any time and set it on air?
Well, now forgive me for having an ego here, but I always feel incredibly confident when calculating a gold difference.
Okay. I can give that. Yeah.
So that's something that I don't mind doing, because that is, to me, that's just looking at 2 numbers and getting another number. That's not.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So like in school, right? I feel like, and I don't know if this is just an England thing, and you can give me some cultural differences. Is because at least in the UK, there's like a saying, or not a saying, but like an understanding that you're either a maths kid or you're an English kid. Like you either do words or you do numbers. And if you're good at both, then you're a prodigy.
I hate the fact that that's probably true. I hate that fact so much because I was neither, right? So where does that land me?
Oh.
Oof.
Moving on. No. But I was always a numbers kid. I remember. I mean, we can just go off on anecdotes right now. We've got nothing to do.
Yeah.
I remember in primary school, so this is elementary school for the NA of you. I hope. Like I was 10 years old, so whatever that makes me. I got there was like a textbook for maths problems, and me and another student in my class like proved it wrong essentially.
Ooh.
So there was this problem where you had like 20 toothpicks and you had to make as many squares out of the toothpicks as possible. That was like the task. And the textbook said you can only do 9. 9 squares is the maximum. And we were like, but we did like 27. Like, excuse me. And we sent a letter because like we're like 10 years old, right? We think that we've just discovered, that the world's going to end in 70 days and we need to tell somebody right now. We sent a letter off to the Department of Education, just like, hey, your textbook's wrong. And we got this random letter that was signed by the, at the time, like head of education for the UK, but
Oh my gosh.
but that was probably sent by his second secretary, right? Like that he'd just gone, oh, well done, you know, we'll get that changed in the next edition, smiley face, and just, we thought I got that letter framed. I'm not kidding. That got framed,
Oh my
put on my put in a little thingy that sat on my windowsill.
That's amazing, by the way. Because 100%, because I feel like I've had those letters. 100%, it's just like a copy paste. It's just like, oh yeah, someone did that. It's like the only thing I'll ever look at for the next like 3 years.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we're so happy for you. You know, keep on prospering in your mathematical endeavors. Woo! And yeah, realistically, somebody's just copy pasted that from a Word document on kids that are annoying. You know, like okay.
Aww.
I think we have match 16 in.
Yes, I think we do.
Glaive
That was
Esports.
Prime.
They took a dub.
Yeah. What seed were they? What's Glaive were in the higher. Oh no, they were 19. So they took it over Winthrop University, who were listed as 14th.
Throps away, everybody. Put them away. This is a Twitch stream. Gosh darn it.
Oh my god. Yeah, congratulations to Glaive.
Did all of were the only teams that were, what am I trying to say, that were upsets for the way seeding worked them out, like the seeding didn't have them as favorites, were the bottom 4 from the like top 16, I think, and they all lost. So like 16, 15, 14, 13 all lost, and then, you know, as a product, top 12 all won.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
It just kind of shows that middle ground is very much a middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, so. that is a thing.
Yeah, and to give a little bit more information as well, like we said, there are 5 games total that'll be played over the course. So as long as you have a record of 3-2, you will be okay to qualify into the main bracket.
So you can go 0-2 today.
Yeah, absolutely. Go 0-2, smash the next 3, which again is quite difficult.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Sandbag the first 2 games so you get an easier run. 5 head.
Yeah. So, don't give people ideas of how to play in a Swiss match. But Rude Dude said it on stream. He said it's
am I match fixing? Am I actually match? No, we're fine. We're fine. It's okay.
Oh, man.
But all 16 games are finished. So I think what we're gonna do is just put it to like a quick break. I'll just pop on a intermission screen, and I'll put some music on, and you can just chill and vibe for a little bit until we get matches through. There's every opportunity that I'm done for the night. We have to wait and see if the Unified want to take the Maryville game, which once again they're perfectly within their rights to do so. That is, you know, exactly their prerogative. So hopefully, and if that is the case, I'll come back and say goodbye to everyone and do an outro. But for the time being, we are going to vibe. We're going to put some music on and go to a Be Right Back screen. So see you soon, stream. We'll be back soon.
Bye bye.
Prodigies versus Dinka Never Homeless. What a great name.
I will say I absolutely love their team picture for the draw show. By far my favorite one of the entire show.
They did.
I do have to say.
They did top out on that, honestly.
Yeah, had that was like the biggest budget graphic designer I think I've ever seen. Like 100%,
Yeah.
like
They-
whoever made that, 100%, gotta get him again. Huge props to that guy.
Yeah, that guy really smurfed it. Okay, they've already started drafting. I'm gonna send you the draft link as well.
Hey.
And then
see it before it goes up.
I'm gonna find out how I can put the draft on the screen.
Screen grab.
Yeah.
Usually window or screen grab is my favorite.
Don't worry. We're gonna pull it out into a separate window though, because we're not trying to leak anything.
While he's doing that, I will give an update of how we have gotten here.
Thank you.
For those that are taking a look and coming in from Evil Genius Prodigies squad, they took down University of Toronto Blue in a 1-0 finish. I believe that was a 29.5-minute game. The game score, for those that may not have watched it, it was 24-8, a very solid, at least, kill count. Majority information to think about is Perry and Faisal both went unkillable, with Faisal topping out at 7-0 and 10, and Perry sitting at 6-0-10. Notable mentions, of course, are Sketch Dreams, who was at 7-2 and 6, in the bot lane with Daption. So that was that match. Taking a look at Dinka, no, Never Homeless again. Taking a look at their score, they rounded out at 30.5 minutes against Redbirds in a 1-0. And that was led, it looks, primarily by Shrimp, who went 6-0 and 4 in that matchup. Very solid score, of course. Other notables was Acnid at the top lane at 4-2 and 6, and Semi at 4-2 and 4 in the jungle. So both games and both teams having very fire performances here.
Yes, there we go. That's obviously these two teams are both 1-0, so they are in a good enough spot here, at least, to start off. We have got the draft now up on screen for everyone, and this is I've actually got I can tell you the blue side bans because I've got that covered for great production reasons. They banned Talon, Action, and Camille on blue side for their first round of bans. So actually Thresh getting through, and Thresh not being prioritized with the Aphelios. Here it's more so to dissuade the Jinx here, because Thresh, a lot more situational if you can knock up that Jinx or find any hooks or anything, whereas Nautilus, you press one button and regardless of Braum, regardless of anything else, you get to that Jinx.
Yeah, and to give an idea as well, Dinka, Never Homeless again, is on the blue side for this match. EGP will be rounding out the red. Red side bans, EG had banned away the Caitlyn, the Senna, and the Karthus, and had picked up the Jinx, Graves, and Braum, and already into second rounds. Double mid lane bans by Dinka, and then EGP, of course, going with the double mid with one flex towards top or jungle, if you will.
Yeah, putting away the rumble there as well, excuse me. Still trying to sort everything out so that it looks and presents well as trying to see what we've got going on. So it's both solo lanes that we need to see picked right now by both of the teams, and I wonder where they're going to lay that priority then, in terms of what solo lane gets that solo pick, or the blind pick rather. It's Azia then going to come through for EGP. This is the counter. This is it. They did it.
All right. So I am so happy. I know it's been picked up by some, and it was picked up at the end of season 11. So if you want, Rude, this is the time to get everything done, because I can happily
You go. Talk about Xerath.
A few hours, if you will. No, I'm kidding. But Xerath for me, so for those wondering, I peaked at Plat 1 quite a few years ago. Unfortunately, I've stayed around the Plat Elo, mid to high Plat. Not the greatest, right? Not the greatest. However, I play a lot of mid lane and I very much enjoyed it. And one of the things that I have personally enjoyed about mid lane is the range of some of these mages. And personally, I'm not very mechanically skilled. I am terrible. If you ask me to play any mechanical champion, I suck. You do not want me playing Zed. You don't want me playing any of those. What I can do is I can hit skill shots. I can land skill shots to an effective degree. And of those champions that are available, Xerath is one that hasn't been tweaked as much. And especially with the new runes, has a lot of firepower. Xerath actually outranges a lot of current mid lane mages. I believe outranges as you outranges Azir, I believe outranges Syndra, Orianna, Victor in terms of just basic abilities. Damage takes a while to ramp up, but it is one of the most spammable champions. As long as you have Lost Chapter, if you do go for that tier early first as well, you negate some of the damage, but you can spam so well. I personally love the champion. It started making the rounds, I think, towards the end of Season 11, and then started gaining a lot of traction recently in the preseason as well. And I'm very, very excited to see if it still maintains its flair. Obviously, it's still not as popular as some of the other ones. As you can obviously tell, the LeBlanc, Syndra, TF, and Rumble were all banned away. Keep in mind as well that we also saw the Talon and Akshan banned away. So definitely lower in priority, but even having it picked up makes me so happy. The scary part of this is, of course, the compositions that are currently lined up. As a Xerath, you're not going to really enjoy being Azir walled into a Xin Zhao, into a Braum, into a Graves, or into a Jinx. It's not good. But if you can stay away, it'll be a grand old time, especially with the front line that you have built up on your side with the Hecarim, with the Nautilus, and with the GP to help kind of lay down poke, suppression, and maybe a cannon barrage to give you a bit of vision. So that is why I was freaking out. Ever since Vigar was not exactly the most prominent mid anymore, and the baby cage did not come down immediately, very, very sad nerf, Xerath has been my go-to. So whether you listen to the Platman's ramblings or not, whether you want to take that into account, feel free to do whatever you want. However, I will say, whenever I take Xerath into Azir, I do have quite a fun time if it's just a 1v1. Obviously, I doubt either team is going to allow that to happen, but that's at least a small analysis into what that mid lane could hold.
Yeah, that's what we're expecting, right? Is the outranging capability of Xerath here. We have got the drafts now mostly locked in up on screen. We obviously get the Braum lock in here as well. Looking at the compositions as a whole, we've got some similarities from our first game that we got to see. Of course, two different teams. It's worth noting, two teams that won. But some differences as well here. GP versus Graves in the top lane, a very different matchup to the Akshan versus Ornn that we got in the first instance. And this is, with those TP changes as well, one of those games where I start to think, well, maybe we stop heading for, or maybe the bot lanes here are going to have a little bit more agency, because the TP changes that came through were obviously all focused, all centered around being able to, centered around, pushing in and hopefully getting a TP play if necessary down on the bot side of the map. As I share my screen to you, finally, you can see. But yeah, this time out, we've got Aphelios Nautilus versus Jinx Braum, and I wonder how the support matchup changes this, because it's certainly a weak, a bit of a weaker lane to take the Nautilus into the Braum here, but for a much better payout in the later stages of the game. So I'd be interested to see how this one goes down. This as well, this Evil Geniuses Prodigies team, sort of an amalgamation of various AoE squads that came together at some point, and then wildcards, Daption as well. I think for Daption here, this is a bit of a gauntlet of fire this season, because previously, any mistakes that he'd been making and any sort of execution errors, at least in the laning phase, were covered by the fact that he was laning with the best carry in Amateur, easily, in Arrow. Who's now found his way back to Academy. But now, and I'm not trying to berate Sketch Dreams at all, but this is going to be a downgrade for Daption's laning partner at the very least, and Sketch Dream's going to... we'll have to wait and see what Daption can do with a less proven support, less proven AD carry, and if those highs of just being the best team in Amateur can translate to Daption here to be one of the best teams this time around.
Yeah, it's also a way for players because, as we said, it's a little bit more difficult, right? But it's another way for players to also step up, right? These are times for those players to also say, for Dashin specifically, to say, hey, this is what I learned playing under one of the best carriers, like you said, in amateur, and being able to bring that experience over is something that we do want to watch. And so far, it seems like it did well, right? Going back to their win. Um, Going back to their win in game number 1 of the evening, it was a 1-4-15 score for Daption, with Sketchstream sitting at 7-2 and 6. So in terms of how much they could apply, not only were they able to seemingly hold themselves steady in the bottom lane, maybe they have the ability to step even further. Of course, we did not see the game, unfortunately, right? But
Hmm.
the possibility is that they also held their own. They got those kills on their own and everything, and definitely shows at least that Daption was able to apply that same pressure. So even though it might be what many would consider a downgrade, it's still that chance to even prove themselves. Maybe Daption is finally ready to kind of break out of that shadow. Right?
Yeah, and obviously this is the split to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So Daption aside, obviously the rest of this EGP team, a large portion of different AoE squads. They had AoE randoms as well as the AoE esports squad here for this team, and then of course on the other side of things, we have got Dinka in the top lane, and then Captain Shrimps as well from C9 Amateur. Certainly on a new squad here. Interested to see how he plays. He's sort of known a little bit for the likes of the Rumble and the Twisted Fate as well, which did get banned away from him. But for these pocket picks, for these slightly eccentric picks to be played into the mid lane, and I think that this is like the player that I would have expected to pull out as Xerath if anybody was going to.
Yeah, and I would like to say at the beginning, my brain is a little bit fried from the workday. I do apologize to Dinka for saying his name like I had never seen it before. So I would like to apologize for that. But I do agree. I also want to say Shrimps was one of the mid laners, if I'm not mistaken, that a lot of the analysts and casters were kind of keeping an eye on, right? This is a player that, like you said, is well known with the champion pool and kind of eccentric, and especially in that win, feeling maybe okay and wanting to see a bit more. Very, very excited to see what it does. Because again, even though we were talking about Xera's laning prowess, one of the things that we were also talking about with the lane differences is how can the mid lane gain prio, right? How can the mid lane apply that same type of pressure that maybe a TF can or anything like that? Xerath is an okay go-between, right? The Rite of the Arcane firing off you can basically travel to just outside of some of the river brushes, and you can land at the top or mid 3 shots very, very easily from that ultimate, right? So that is something that I personally will be very, very interested to keep eyes on as we do get the battle lines drawn.
5 point then, yet to start us out, just fixing everything. Let's put the scoreboard up as well. There we go. Everything should now be looking all fine and dandy as we head on into this second game then. So if you win here, reminder again for the people at home that you pretty much you are 1 game away, and that's not pretty much, you just are factually 1 game away from making it 2 groups, which I think is the goal for both of these teams decidedly here. And this is going to be, I feel like, for the top upper half of the top 16, the first challenge for these teams, because they've both gone into their first match as a fairly high seeded and should expect to win their first game. This one is going to be different. EGP, obviously, with that LCS affiliation, going to be a slightly different look, and maybe with that LCS affiliation, expected to do a little bit better than the, Dinka Never Homeless is a band of reprobates essentially here that they've pulled together. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not the infrastructure here can carry them through to a 2-0 start.
Well, what we can say is the top lane's getting a bit spicy here. Both Dinka and Faisal just going at it like cats and dogs. And GP, of course, one of the champions that a lot of people were talking about, would be getting quite a big buff as we get a flash for flash and another auto. So I think that was 5 Grasp of the Undying procs that Dinka has so far been able to siphon away, which, considering who has that corrupting potion, Dinka coming out in a fairly nice pattern in the top side already.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big plus on a lot of HP as well. Every grass proc, you get a little bit of extra permanent health, so that's going to be helping Dinka no end as we get later and later into the game, as well as in this laning phase as well, surviving the Graves. But good to see that he's the one forcing out the flash now as we sort of draw our way through this laning phase. Obviously, both of these guys had 3 sets of consumables, Corrupting Potion versus Longsword, you get 3 pots on either. But it's Fleet Footwork versus Grasp. So Faisal's health regen is not situational. He's going to get that regardless so long as he's moving and autoing, where Dinka on the other side will have to do something else. But this is a dive.
Yeah, listen, top lane was already spicy. Let's make bot lane as well. This is going to be where the TP comes into play.
Ooh.
But it can't be done as the kill comes out in sketch streams with the help of Parry and Daption. Pull off, I want to say, a fairly clean tower dive.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Perry's jungle right now. It's all up. He just took the enemy's bot side and walked and dove their bot lane. Like, he's absolutely taken the lunch money as well as, like, their house,
Yeah.
So he now has the majority of his top side to clear as well. We did see a small effort in a response. The Krugs were taken away on that side, but other than that, that was this is currently an early game for EGP, which has gone very well. Just off the bat of jungle sort of pathing, I suppose, more so than anything else, and currently just Perry doing a very good job at getting himself a lead, and it will be able to be sustained because you can see already Daption moved through this top side. He's found out, hey, my entire top side jungle is pretty much here, right? He's also going to be making sure that Faisal has a little bit of assistance. He's already burned the TP to get back to lane, so this is now sort of a locked lane state. You need to be finding those recalls, and if Daption does go up there, then it could potentially help out Faisal in finding a kill, finding a reset, whatever he needs, but it looks like that isn't going to be the case. Instead, he's just able to move back down to the bot side.
And as the camera pans over, I would like to point out Faisal has actually invested the same amount of gold into the consumables, right? So it was 3 basic potions plus a refillable, I think counts out to 500, just like the corrupting potion, whereas Dinka has been able to kind of save up on there instead, being able to grab that coal a little bit quicker. So in terms of the disparity between the two, is very, very interesting to watch how Faisal actually said, all right, well, guess I have to do the same.
Yeah, two refillables, or 2 sets of refillable rather. It's 125 per potion, and then corrupting potion is, how would you say 500? I believe right there. Maybe think it's 450 because it's 150 each. Uncertain.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was. Oh no! I completely got my math wrong then, huh? Completely. Yeah. See,
don't do math on stream.
This is why you don't do math on stream.
Anyways, it's okay. Let's take a little bit of time, hopefully, whilst we've got a bit of a lull state. The Drake is going to get taken down by Perry to talk about what these teams are going to be looking to do in general, in total here, because we've got, obviously, some very heavy-hitting AD carries as well, right? Sketchstreams and Blue Skies both going to be able to team fight in the late stages, no end. But looking already, it is Sketchstreams who's got that really nice CS lead off the back of that dive that they were able to get, where they denied Blue Skies that big wave under the turret. Zerath and Azir, again, 2 very strong team fight, composite 2 team fight mages in the late stages of the game. Xin and the Hecarim going to be pulling off that front line. 2 compositions that, at a quick glance, seem to do broadly the same thing here, with Nautilus and Braum trying to be that pseudo front line as well, helping out the junglers. So you do expect to see some death balling, some team fighting with Faisal and Dinka here, looking to be those side lane presences. And I think that makes this top lane matchup incredibly important, because whoever's going to have that top side or solo lane push will have a distinct advantage when it comes to things like the team fights, because typically having that side lane advantage means that you either have a health pool advantage if you try and find a TP, or you have the priority to TP first without missing out on things like a minion wave.
What happens now? Faisal is going to face off against Sammy in that jungle. Level 6 versus level 5, but Dinka is a little bit quicker on the draw there, it looked like. So Faisal is okay to step away. Sammy is going to go ahead and go back to getting that blue buff.
Yeah, so, little scraps, but everything all okay in the end. And now, with that experience lead, that gold lead that they drafted for themselves down in the bot lane, it's also nice to see that we did see EGP sort of convert that into the Dragon. Herald is going to be spawning in a few seconds time, about 45 seconds, so slightly interested by sketch teams going back down to this bot side. Typically you would see teams reset for the Herald and then move their way up to the top lane. They had pretty much the best recall for it, but they would have had to sync up with Faisal to make that happen, and that doesn't look really to have been the case here. But what happens now is we've got Blue Skies, who's not been on a reset yet. He's not looking to take one either. So there's a distinct difference in the ADCs. And as well, draw your attention to Perry. He's once again going farming in the enemy's jungle.
Yeah, this is now a 3-quadrant jungle for the side of EGP. And it's up to Sammy to try and break that pattern, right? That's the unfortunate scenario that's kind of occurred. And you can even see it's now starting to take a toll on Duo King and Blue Skies here on the bot side. They understand that this tower dive can happen even quicker than before. Blue Skies taking a little bit slower route. So now on the top, Sammy says, hey, I gotta try and do something here on the top side. Is gonna use that onslaught of shadows. 2 power shots, almost falls, but is able to get away with a scrap of health. That means that the bot side is now going to get teleported on. They're going to do it again, and the teleport once again is just a smidge too late. They're going to draw the support right back, and that's going to be a stun straight into the right of the arcane, but a nice body block is going to be the Crescent Guard. Nice shift under the tower, as well as Leo is able to slow down the HP bars. Nice stun, or not stun, slow. Is going to be the tag, so it is going to be Shrimp and Duo King walking away with minor HP bars.
Just getting away. It's a positive play overall for EGP. They're able to, force out some of the spells left, right, and center. They didn't have to expect, well, Leo didn't have TP to expend, but either way, right, getting away with just losing your support versus taking down the AD carry, always going to be a beneficial trade. Once again, seeing Blue Skies put further and further behind off of these dives, and rinse and repeat, right? We're 5 minutes apart. They did the same thing after Perry had taken the bot side jungle 5 minutes ago. They just come back, they do it again. They take the red buff, we'll dive you once more. And it's nice to see that Sketchstreams here getting those resources on this Jinx right now is going to be an absolute presence during the late stages of the game, and puts a lot of pressure onto Captain Trimps, onto Sammy, because they're the ones who have access to this Jinx, right? Even if your 700 range with rockets plus lethal tempo takes you to like 825, you can still find that as Xerath. You have that power to be zoning out this Jinx, to be taking her low, chunking her down. So you have to look toward this Xerath, toward the Hecarim who has Onslaught of Shadows into the backline, to be that threat to take them down in response.
Lines are drawn, the targets are now stacked, and starting to see it as we do see a lane swap very early on. This is reminiscent of, I want to say, back in season 7 and 8. Just like, all right, we're doing the juggle here. This is what's going to happen. Sketchstream saying, I want out, and I want to start adapting to other sides. Dinka not going to have as easy a time farming.
No, so certainly looking here to make sure Dinka can be zoned off, and now with Sammy moving his way up, a little bit of support coming through now to help him get those waves. And yeah, walks up to this, and obviously this is a trade of plates right now. Obviously, Sketchstreams being the one that moved up to here, it is EGP that have made this first play, that have secured themselves the Herald and that are getting the objective. This is like an even trade right now. There's no Drake being taken on the bot side here in response. Dinka,
they're going to go ahead, fire off. That's going to be a 3-on-3 on the top side. Sammy is going to be under the tower and alone. So, right again, it is going to be in favor of EGP. They are punishing everywhere. Dinka having to flash away, and on the bot side, they didn't get more than 2 plates. First tower and first couple plates will go the way of this EGP squad.
And they're not going to get more either. That's the important thing, is that there's a nice proxy farm that they performed, but Graves, funnily enough, more than capable of proxy farming a wave on his own. He's got that Vamp Scepter, he's full build at this point during the laning phase, he's got no concerns. Now we get to see the resets come through, they even get a second charge off. We'll be interested to see whether or not there's a rush of the Dragon that can come through. Blue Skies should have the time here to move up with Duo King and get that Drake taken down, and a really good stop on the recalls actually by Dinka might just give the Drake over. A bit of a saving grace when you're 2k down to get that Drake and make sure that they're not just getting turbo stacked into Soul Point.
Yeah, that was solid heads up play, of course. And now we've had the 2 brand new Dragons coming across the rift. Hextech went the way of EGP. Chemtech will now go the way of this Dinka squad. And the final Drake of all dragons to cause a little bit of chaos, Infernal Soul, will be played for.
Okay, so a lot of damage going to be coming out onto the Rift this time around with the Chemtech Drake and the Hextech Drake as well. So both the sort of damage amp oriented Drakes being taken, one on either side, and then Infernal's going to be 3 apiece, or 3 for at least one team rather, regardless here of where the soul goes. And now we get to see these return to standard laning assignments. And when we get to sort of this mid-game stage right now, one of the drawbacks of Xerath, has to be said, is that he sucks at being a side laner. Immobile, his ways of getting out of ganked, really not all that great.
Yeah, and what also happens is when you're slow, you are slow, one of the slower moving mid laners. So that's why you have the GP ultimate on the back end to try and help out in this team fight. Sammy is going to slowly walk away, is going to have a body block coming in from the Super Mega Death Rocket, and the firing back of the AoE is going to land. Dinka are able to close in 1, taking away the life of Perry.
Okay, nice response here by Dinka. They do collect themselves 1 quick kill. Perry punished for going for the third sort of by 5 minutely, we'll call it, venture into the enemy's jungle. That red buff's still standing though, so maybe Sammy will be able to get his hands on his own red buff for some time during this game. Sketch streams with this Kraken. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. You know, this guy's been playing on post-it food stamps this entire matchup, and it'd be nice.
Oh no, he's even in trouble with getting his blue buff stolen, but that's not the big point to talk about. That's going to be a hook and a half landing, as that is going to be a flash away from the stun, but Shrimp coming down at just the right time, and a perfect hook from Duo King, able to draw the ADC away from the unbreakable wall. Yeah, big shutdown as well, going over, gets checked. Kit went on to Captain Shrimps as well, probably the best target for killing this Jinx to get gold onto, and this is sort of a detraction from what we'd seen from the mid or from the early stages of the game. Dinka starting to fight back. They're going to be able, look at this TP, look behind them right now. It is going to be a TP in from the flank. Leo's here. Yeah, they're going to try and do this. That is going to be a great shuffle being used, but can't follow through on Duo King, so losing out on 1. They should be able to chase it down, but again, very, very clean from Leo to not let that tower go down unpunished. Yeah, okay. A good response, and something that they just didn't have the answer to match for. Minions, be it not in position or just not by the wave. Dinka and Shrimps had TP ready, not quite there to respond. Oh boy. Yeah. That's Xerath. Oh, so he has Ludens. Yeah, he has Alternator as well. That's a daunting prospect. That's not what you like to see if you sketch streams. That's really not what you like to see. Stuck is now gonna get launched on. He's dead. Oh, that's the final shot. Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm fanboying a little bit too much here. Absolutely loving the Xerath coming out here. I mean, quite rightly so here. This is exactly what we were hoping to see from the Xerath pick. Dinka forced to defend this turret. Shrimp here as well. Yeah, and that's going to be a slowdown. Perry not going to enjoy this tag and a half. Is going to be the sacrificial lamb, as Adaption and Leo are allowed to survive. Okay, so Captain Shrimps versus the world so far this game. Yeah. 6 kills for Dinka, 5 for Captain Shrimps, and this is going to get very confusing using Dinka as the shorthand for the team name, but you're just going to have to use context clues to know when we're talking about either one. But this is not just a saving grace here, this is a win condition outright for Dinka Never Homeless. They have got this 5-0 Xerath in the mid lane, and the beauty of Xerath, of course, if you've got the range, you have the range, right? If you're positioning well is more so the if here. There's no way of getting to him this time round, right? With the Glacial Fissure, probably the longest range ability to catch him out, but that's not something that you're expecting to get caught by very often. Yeah, and at this point, I mean, I'm looking across, there is no Glacial, right? There is nothing that you can use to get close to this gentleman, much less just diving, and that's going to be the call. Oh, there's the Glacial Fissure. Sorry, you were talking about Glacial Fissure, not Glacial Augment. My brain, again, is a little bit cracked right now. I'm very, very sorry. But we saw a glimmer of what could have happened there, right? Daption getting caught out, Duo King. The value the Nautilus is starting to bring is going to slowly ramp up.
Yeah, and if they are searching for sketch streams, one Nautilus ulti into any form of Xerath skill shots will likely spell disaster, because sketch streams is going to be trying to dip, duck, dodge, weave through all of the, you know, right of the arcane, everything that Xerath is going to be throwing down. But then, if you get slammed by that depth charge, there's just nothing you can do. It does become stopwatch necessary. Infernal Drake's starting to come through. Xerath needs to stop poking.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's a little bit far away, so that's just going to pull the ultimate out. But it's still a split fight. Great
Perry
shuffle, pushing 3 right back into the fight, and that is Dinka immediately down to 2. Sammy is now going to get chunked out. The Hunter of Graves will take that one home, and what looked like a difficult fight to join in means that EGP take 4 for their ADC's life.
Yeah, and they're going to trade that every day of the week here. If Shrimps isn't there to help out, they're going to take that fight every day of the week. This Jinx is still incredibly strong. We're now at the point where Leo and Perry are incredibly facilitated, incredibly useful at this stage in the game. Leo's use is only going to go up here, but a 1-item Xin Zhao, you know, if he hits that 2-item spike pretty soon here, is, you know, peak Xin Zhao, right? That's the height of when he's strong. So at this point in the game, they need the Xerath with them, because remember, all of their gold is on this mid lane right now. All of their gold is with Shrimp Captain, Captain Shrimps. He is their lifeblood here during this matchup, and if he's not with them, yes, right, yes, the ulti is beautiful, but there's only so many times you can, quite literally, you can ult, and you need the rest of the consistent DPS to be there to just be poking people out left, right, and centre. Drake fights shouldn't be that easy for EGP, and they're going to be very happy that they were able to find one that went well.
Not just that, it's on such an important dragon. I was very, very curious if they were actually going to try and lock it down, right? Considering how the last couple poke fights were going, and yet they went for it. Very, very impressive. And now they have full initiative into this mid lane. 4 members barreling down, Perry off on the side. They could very easily dive this as well. Sammy not going to enjoy getting poked out as well, taking about a quarter HP damage, immediately speeds out of the jungle. But you can see what's going to happen now. They ping it out. Dinka next on the firing list.
4 people, 5 people even roaming down toward that bot side. And this now, here, we're starting to see a few of the drawbacks that picking a Xerath does offer you, particularly with an Aphelios as your sort of duo carry. You don't want to put your Xerath in the side lane, as we talked about earlier, right? Him going over there is very easy to get chased down by the likes of Faisal, you know, the likes of a Xin Zhao as well, if Perry tries to move up there. Got a quick pause here. Classic League of Legends where we have the pauses, but this is an interesting game. I think that at this point, I don't mind saying I have no idea who's going to win. You know, normally we have like a fair idea of who the favourites are. This one could be anybody's game right now. It really still comes down to execution and how these teams continue to go about this. If Dinkin of the Homeless can group up and put Shrimp Captain in position to start firing off damage, then hey, beautiful. They're going to be in a great position. But if these, you know, if the Xerath isn't quite with them, or if he gets caught out, if Daption finds the miracle knockup, if Perry finds that miraculous engage, the second the Xerath dies, so far, that's when the rest of the team dies, because time after time, Perry dove bot lane. This Aphelios is not a factor in this game just yet. He's an entire item behind the enemy AD carry. Sketch streams with a full Runons over his counterpart, and you can already see speccing into defensive builds. Null Magic Mantle in his inventory already. He does not want any part of what Captain Shrimps is doing.
Yeah. This is immediately just, no. We're not dealing with this today. ADC's lives do matter in the current scope of League of Legends, and it will remain so. Most notably, you were talking about defensive. I want to talk about defensive for Blue Skies, right? Game number 1, we saw an Aphelios actually run the Gale Force, which was very, very powerful. But taking a look here, it's the Immortal Shield Boat coming out for Blue Skies, right? This is an immediate hop into the defensive instead of a gentle kind of dip into it.
Yeah, and I'll be interested to see where the build path goes from here. I hope that this is just a standard pause and not one of the ones that ruins you and you have to reconnect, because that's not bueno. Okay, we'll do that. We'll hop back 15 seconds and we'll just take it from there. Should be fine here to carry on with this, with any luck. Well, bated breath to see if we carry on going. Looks like we should be okay. So, beautiful. We're back. We're ready. Pause is over and done with. So, we hit, maybe get directed cam as well, perchance. Is this Rude Dude Observes? It looks like it might be. Okay, we're good. So we've got now, I think we've got maybe missing orbital for a second, but that's absolutely fine. Had a few tech issues, but we're all fixed anyway. Mid lane priority certainly being established by Dink and Never Homeless. It looks like they're going to be able to convert this one into the mid tier 1, which versus an Azir is incredibly impactful. The fact that you don't have that mid tier 1 for, you know, any control mage, any AD carry, always a concern. It means that fighting for mid lane priority now becomes so much more difficult because you don't have that bastion of safety to fall back to within a couple of seconds. You can see, right, Captain Shrimps here hugging his tier 1 turret, just sitting pretty much underneath it so that if he does try to get dove, he's still got that semblance of safety there ready. If his team, you know, isn't quite ready to respond, he's got that turret to help him on out. And with that, it's nice to see that they've sort of adapted this one out a little bit here. Put the more, I'm going to say, the more expendable resource in the side lane, in Blue Skies. If he gets caught out, killing the Aphelios for the 5th time, whilst never good, it's better than losing your Xerath, who's got a 500 gold shutdown over his head.
Yeah, with that first tower going down there, this is going to be kind of fun to take a look at here. Again, 21 minutes into this game, and as you were saying, trying to keep Shrimp alive now is the big question mark. So waiting around to see Dragon in a minute 45, and everyone clearing out wards. It looks like it's going to be another battle round right at the Arcane. Taking a couple dips here, a couple shots, and Sketch Streams seems to have figured out the pattern. Yeah,
got the movement back down this time round, and you know that's just one of what is going to be many assaults on his skill shot dukes, right? And how well he can take aim. And now when that starts to come a little bit later on, it's going to be even more important. Horizon focusing as a second item for Captain Shrimps, right? Losing these, that's a very early Jinx rocket to see for the Baron. But either way, they've scattered out the Baron. It's not being taken. Surprise to, well, not to us, but maybe surprise to the EGP squad. With the Infernal Drake spawning in a little under a minute right now, we have that, the thoughts go back to 5 minutes ago, right, where Captain Shrimps not in position to take the fight, and subsequently EGP were able to close out and sort of take a 4v5 in their favour. We're now looking to see whether or not they can replicate that success, and it's going to be a lot harder, looking at those item breakpoints mainly to see where we are. Leo doesn't quite have that Shadow Flame just yet. Runantar's come through for Sketch Streams, he's had that for a while now, and the BT for Faisal going to be incredibly big, where on the other side, we've got Muramana for Sammy. His dive capability actually to kill Sketch Streams, very possible, very high, if he wants to try and find that dive.
Yeah, and we could see what they were trying to do, and it was going to be Dinka looking like they wanted to try a little bit of a Bush Wiki gank, but can't find it, and instead are going to try and pinch this weaker side of the map, and I really like this call. Parry's actually dropped by 50%, but they have to get out. Daption is going to be able to collapse at the call. Oh, makes it happen. That is collateral damage, bringing the damage. Shrimp getting caught out on the back end is exactly what EGP want, and Dinka is going to be CC'd into oblivion. Once again, Shrimp is alive, but the rest of the team is dead.
Leo's TP, he goes into the bot side of the jungle of Dinka Never Homeless. He just wanders through there, gets the big 3-man swoop, and says thank you very much. We will take that team fight. Captain Shrimp's not able to pump out nearly enough damage. Again, Perry here, this game has got one job, and it is to sacrifice himself, to distract, to make Captain Shrimps not be able to play this game as well as he desires. Now, obviously, attempted steals. There's a chance that this goes poorly for EGP.
There really is, and actually this is one of the
Sketch Streams
things,
is dead.
What, you're gonna get a kill here. Sketch Streams barely surviving in the back here. Oh,
they live?
Tag, but it is gonna go down. You gotta play it in the pocket. Sketch Streams with the get excited is going to live. That's gonna be cast. They're gonna go ahead and try and get Daption on the back end for a consolation prize. But even Daption's running. I don't think you want to get too close to your ADC though. They only get one, and now Faisal is on the run. Hackerem though, the horse sees fast. Can't find the Jinx though, so it is only gonna be Leo farming at the mid lane. Baron taken, only losing one. As Sketchstream says, it's a heist.
Okay, we get to see one of the other drawbacks of Xerath right there, Orbital. If you miss your skill shots, you do no damage, unfortunately. And be it that...
No point and click,
Exactly, right? And be it that there were some good sidesteps, be it that Captain Shrimp's not quite ready. Either way, that was a very volatile state. You know, that was one where that could have decided the game going either way. Now the Baron going over to EGP has them with a decided advantage. They're at Soul Point as well, so now they've got a 3-minute window where they can, well, it's now down to 2 minutes, where they can push with the Baron and then use the remaining 1 minute 30 to control the bot side jungle of Dink and Ever Homeless and make sure that that Infernal Soul goes their way. Remember when I said that Captain Shrimps had Horizon Focus maybe 10 minutes ago? He's built up a blasting one since then. Yes, he's probably going to have gold in his inventory ready to go back and spend, but at the minute, that Xerath sort of increase in gold intake has really sort of tailed off.
Yeah, and it's allowed Leo to climb right back, right? 2.5 items, just like Xerath. He's going to be looking for a bit of help, though. I have to give credit where credit is due. Daption and Leo have been fantastic, but here's the collapse coming down. This is the numbers. Oh, you're able to catch 2 off of that plant, and it's only going to leave Daption alive. Parry should fall here as well. Fantastic collapse from Dinka, kind of dishing out a little bit of revenge.
Disaster strikes for EGP, and that is going to pretty much immune the Baron push for them. They are going to maybe get a top tier 2 as consequence, but it looks like here just that little overstay in the enemy's jungle, the sort of the unfortunate nature of that they may well lose out on more than just a couple of lives. Tier 2 mid lane maybe up for siege, but it looks like it's not going to be taken just yet. So a nice play for Dink and Ever Homeless. It stops that Baron from being able to, you know, break open the base or anything, and probably returns us to a game state of pretty much neutral, within 1 to 2k gold at this stage in the game, fairly negligible, and all eyes turn toward that Drake in 2 minutes time, because that's where the action's going to go down. That's when we're going to see the massive fight, which could well decide the game.
Yeah, and you can see that's why Dink is actually running, right? You don't want to expend any unnecessary spells, and dying here wouldn't really call the necessity of anything because all you would have is teleport, right? But even then, dying at this point, allowing a wave to push up, this is the time where teams are really hammering down that wave control management, right? This is the time where that high-level macro play is going to be oh so important in deciding who gets pressure around that dragon, who is going to get the wards, who is going to be ready.
And to touch back on that as well, right? Let's take a look at the CS numbers between those pivotal carry roles, the mid lanes and the AD carries, because both of them are heavily favouring EGP right now. 40 in the mid lane, upwards of 60 in the AD carry role. Now, a byproduct of those bot lane dives per chance for Blue Skies and Sketchstream's differential, but there's also that big XP gap right now, 2 levels in the AD carry, 1 level between the mid laners. These intangible gold leads that you get as a nature of just having more levels, right? Each level for a non-support champion is roughly 500 gold, so that's 1,000 gold of base stats that Blue Skies is missing out on, 500 in the way of Leo, and then the same across other roles as well here. The top lane in particular, Faisal out by 1. That's a 2k gold gap just built into the levels right here. So you're looking at this Drake fight and you're thinking, okay, maybe our items might be even, but there are still these differences between the teams, and with the Infernal Drakes as well, there's already 2 stacked up. So you can't take away from the fact that as well as having even items, they're going to have more damage from those items because it's all a percentage.
Yeah, I believe it's 3% extra AD and AP off of each Drake, so it's 6%. I made sure to do my math. I've double checked that twice. So now we're going to get a chance, though, a very nice flee onto the Azir, exactly who they wanted to catch. Are they going to get a little bit more? They're going to go ahead, fire away. Shots go 1, 2, and 3, but it doesn't even matter as Leo is just bait. The rest of this EGP squad is running rampant. Yeah, get excited because you're getting excited for going to 0 on day number 1 of these qualifiers. Quadra kill for Sketchstreams, and I think EGP are trying to put all doubts to rest.
Oh, he got bullied by Shrimps in the early stages, but he's brought his wits end and said no more to that. He is running through the Dink and Ever Homeless squad. There goes the FF vote, and that is it, everybody. That's the 2-0 that EGP were looking for. They put themselves right into, you know, a really good position to take the group stages by storm. Of course, at this point, only 1 game remains for them before they can say that comfortably. Reminder, it's a 3-2 needed. But that's the game. That's EGP taking the dub.
And and I have to give credit where credit is due. EG
Mm.
played a phenomenal game, right? This honestly started all the way back at, I want to say, minute 3.5, right? With Perry pretty much living in that bot side jungle from minute, as soon as it spawned, cleared the entire bot side, like you said, and straight into the bot lane gank. Perfect coordination, didn't lose a single member, and that snowballed completely out of control.
It did, right? We can take a look at the damage again here and, you know, see great. Captain Shrimps really was pumping out the DPS, but Sketchstreams as well, despite getting booped a few times by that Zerath, was also dishing out the DPS. Those resources were not expended in vain. The really good bot lane dives that you got to see, right? We really, you know, we touched on it in the game that you will trade your support for the enemy ADC time and time again. And this is exactly why. Being able to put Sketchstreams in a position to carry, I have very high faith in this guy as an ADC, just as a player himself, so putting resources into him is something I'm always going to be down for. And, you know, EGP here, they reap the rewards.
Yeah, fantastic job on their part. And for the side of Dinker, remember, 1-1 is, I have to say, a pretty respectable score moving into day 2, right? And it's weird to say that because it sounds so minuscule, right? It's a 1-1. You know, what really could be said? Well, you give yourself a berth, right? In a 1-1 position, and especially in Swiss bracket, how you devolve into a 1-1 scenario, or how you devolve into certain scenarios, really counts for something, right? It determines who you match up against. And since I believe they landed at a 1-1 after winning one game, it's going to shift things a little bit in who they might be seeded against.
Yeah.
So that'll be very, very interesting.
Have to wait and see how all that shakes out. But for now, we'll take it down a notch again. I think we can pretty much wrap up here, honestly, because we're with no more games. That's it. 2 games for the night. Orbital, thank you for coming on. It was very last minute, but I have to thank you for just saving me from 2 hours of isolation, 2.5 hours of isolation. It's definitely been good, and a good insight into some of the teams as well.
Oh yeah, and it was so much fun, right? Being able to see some of these guys come out and play, you know, and taking a look at what else the teams have to offer, right? Instead of just the days that I was fundamentally going to be casting. Salandria, I thank you very much as well for tuning in. I'm glad. Thank you, Redude, for reaching out.
Yeah, no worries. I'm gonna wrap up the stream here, Orbital. So thank you very much. I will catch you in a very short while. I assume we'll be in contact many times. We've got a lot of stuff planned. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Have a good night.
Yes, you too. Goodbye. Alrighty. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll be back again, hopefully tomorrow, doing more of this, more open qualifiers. There'll be games that need streaming, games that need casting, so that's the hope. I'll be back with Dia tomorrow. So Dia also going to be on the Academy broadcast with us doing the group stages. He's going to be partnered with me this for those games, and also we're going to be doing some prep, some research, all that good stuff, which will all be streamed on here tomorrow for the games in particular, so that if, you know, Maryville or EGP, Dink Never Homeless, please feel free to reach out. I'm just going to be putting on whichever games aren't streamed and doing my best. This was the EGP game was very last minute. So also thank you to Ido for letting me into this one as well. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, like about the same time, I think, but it goes for an extra hour because there are 3 games. Salandria, thank you very much for tuning in as well. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to everyone for the follows as well. It's been a really good time to just see teams, players, and everything like that. But for now, that's it. That'll do it for me. We're going to raid the Unified mainstream just so you can see it. We'll actually raid Unified 2 because that's where Maryville are. And we did Maryville earlier on. So let me just check that their game's still going, because I can see that the Unified 1 is still going on. Okay, this game's over, pretty much. All right. No spoilers, but Unified 2's looking less close than Unified 1, believe it or not, as we get into it. So, thank you very much. Have a good evening, everybody. We will catch you all tomorrow with myself and Dietropa. Goodbye!